If you were to consider the number of years that Aberdeen has wasted in the Cal Ripken Jr. era for them, kind of makes them like the perfect affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles. Or at least that would be my argument. We're going to be talking about, in what is the second late night video of the night for me, it's going great. The story that is kind of the big one in East Coast Indy ball / minor league baseball off-season chatter right now. So we're talking across approximately a dozen people. And it is sort of pushed ahead. It's something that I've been tracking for a little bit now. A couple people brought it to my attention previously. And now there's an article here on the Baltimore Banner from Justin Fenton and Hayes Gardner that really sort of pushed it into focus. The article, go check it out because they give some great background of the whole situation that I'm not going to go into in this video. They also give some good insights into just the present mindset of some of the parties involved, and that's something that I will try to shed a little more light on in this video. But go check it out, Baltimore Banner article. It's called Cal Ripken Jr. broke up with his hometown baseball team. Now the Ironbirds' future is uncertain. And we are talking about the Aberdeen Ironbirds in this one. And where to begin? Because it's a big topic. The quick version, the highlights of what's recently happened is that Cal Ripken Jr., who is like one of the owners of and the financial backers of the Aberdeen Ironbirds, in fact, he was the one who brought them to, really, he was like the owner. He brought them to Aberdeen. He bought the team when it was elsewhere. He has sold most of his stake at the Aberdeen Ironbirds. He sold it to Attain Sports and Entertainment. He retains part of his ownership, but sort of through the group or as part of the group. Now, Attain Sports and Entertainment, they also own the Chesapeake Bay Sox, formerly known as the Bowie Bay Sox, the Frederick Keys, Spire City Ghost Hounds, which are the hiatus Atlantic League team, and the Loudoun United FC team that is in the USL Championship. So it's like second, third league down, whatever. Lately, it's been years about it, and it never really took off the way that Aberdeen, the city, wanted. They've always felt like they kind of had a bad deal. They had less games than they expected. They've had years of bad attendance. The team and the city now have been to court against each other twice. It's not really a great deal for the city, as I said. It's just kind of been a disappointment. The surrounding real estate development that was planned hasn't worked out. Fans aren't really impressed with the team's efforts for those fans and the marketing efforts going on. The city, they've identified like tens of millions of dollars in necessary renovations. There's $200 million in state funds going to like 5 pro teams throughout the league. That includes Frederick, or throughout the state. That includes Frederick, Chesapeake, and Aberdeen. They're all supposed to be receiving funds, but Aberdeen's kind of lagging behind in this process. So with all that, people keep asking me, what do I think is happening over here? Well, I think when you break down the facts of the matter, it's pretty clear what's happening. I think that the Ironbirds are underfunded. I've been hearing for a little while, and I've been there. They aren't putting a ton of money into this. I don't think they were even in the Cal Ripken Jr. era. They're underfunded. They're struggling with their fan base. The town is tired of the current arrangement. Ripken's pulled back. He's remaining connected to the ownership, though. The team, they were just fined, is the recent information that's come out, is that they've been fined for violating professional development license, so the PDL terms, which is what allows you to be an affiliated team for a major league ball club. I have limited knowledge. It's all very classified of what is exactly in that way can be fined for, but I would assume it was about field or otherwise some sort of ballpark related thing. It seems to be the main thing you can get fined for, at least in the paperwork I've seen. It's that is an interesting. I think it was like 75,000 or something like that. Despite this, though, so break this down from the ownership perspective. Now, the money makers are the teams that are affiliated. That's the big opportunity if you're owning teams. Now you have an organization that Attain, who has Chesapeake, who is a minor league team. You have Aberdeen, who is a minor league team. And then you have the weird Frederick Spire City collective, which is like draft league / Atlantic League. Those aren't money makers. That doesn't work. So it is strange to see that despite those facts and the fact that Aberdeen seems to be in trouble retaining that affiliated status, which again is the moneymaker, Despite that, ownership's cut a deal with Maryland to put tens of millions of dollars not into the affiliated club. That's dragging out. Not into Aberdeen, which needs it so badly, but into Frederick. And they're talking openly about wanting to get minor league baseball back there. The Indy ball team is on a hiatus, as many might know. This will be the second year that's been on hiatus after coming in. They announced the brand like mid 2023 and then 2023 and then did not come back for 2024. So that was a very weird situation. But they have been working to get it up to that MILB standard so you can be an affiliated team while that's been going on. But why not do that for Aberdeen? If the money that you're being given from the state is going to be getting spent, I get that it's earmarked for a certain team, but you would figure they would work a deal out so they could get the Aberdeen money instead of being so focused on Frederick. I'll point out that Frederick's a bigger town, almost 5 times bigger than Aberdeen. Attain's CEO is playing very coy, but hinting at an MILB team coming to Frederick. He said something like when he was asked about it, he was like, well, wait and see. It's like, okay. Frederick Mayer, when he was asked about it, he admits that he's aware that the Ironbirds coming to town is a possibility. So it's being discussed. From where I sit, I think the only thing that explains this is I think it's very clear that the Orioles affiliation is going to be bouncing from Aberdeen to Frederick. I'm not sure how that goes. I think it's a 10-year contract that they're in. They're like in the middle of between Aberdeen and Baltimore. One thought is maybe the deal with Aberdeen could remain intact with the Ironbirds, but the Ironbirds will simply move to Frederick, like the organization, and then Frederick would probably come back because I think they'll want to keep some sort of baseball in Aberdeen. I wonder if a violation of the PDL, the one they got fined for, could be enough to allow the Orioles to back out of their contract with Aberdeen and then form a new one with Frederick. Could that have even been intentionally allowed to slip? I don't know. That's a bit far, in my opinion, but fascinating. So I think Frederick will be the affiliated. I don't think you allow Aberdeen to remain the situation it's in while putting money successfully into Frederick and openly talking about wanting to get an affiliated team in Frederick if you do not already have some sort of deal, some sort of handshake deal. I mean, there's so many oddities within that to risk just having lost both affiliated teams and letting Baltimore go somewhere else. It just seems common sense that that's what's going on. Now, I'm not sure if the Keys will remain in Frederick as the minor league team or the Ghost Towns, because I like that brand. They just spent good money on that. Or, again, I don't think it would be the Ironbirds. I think they would stay in Aberdeen. But Aberdeen's still tabbed, I think, to get the funding eventually. I mean, they're going to have to use it to renovate. I think they are probably going to announce. My guess would be they're going to announce at some point here in the near future that this might be the final year of their deal with the Orioles. They're going to do something different, whatever. They're going to be announcing big renovations, but with that, they're maybe going to join another league, Indy League, potentially. Aberdeen would then have options in this theory. They could go Atlantic League. I wouldn't count out the Frontier League in this. I'm not sure how good the relationship is between Attain and the Atlantic League because there was just some weirdness about the way the hiatus thing happened. I'm not sure they were thrilled about it. There's one school of thought, which is it's cool. It was all worked out and communicated in advance. There's another school of thought that's like, maybe it's not that cool. Maybe they weren't thrilled that they were put on hiatus. Maybe it was inferred, or even more than that they would stick around. I don't know. That is one I don't have a lot on. I've had some people mention to me that like, nah, everything's cool. I've had some people mention to me that like, nah, it's not necessarily cool between Attain and the Atlantic League. I think it's closer to cool than not, but I could be off. So they could go there. Could go Frontier. Could go to the Draft League, especially because Frederick will be leaving the Draft League and leaving an open spot. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's just a straight swap of the Draft League team comes in and the Ironbirds with their, development license go to Frederick. And maybe rebrand, maybe don't. I don't know what they would do there. It's a weird situation. It's like in that situation is two cities trading teams, which is bizarre. That's a YouTube video in itself. That's my best guess. I know the Atlantic League has reached out. It said it in that article. I suspect the Frontier League will be reaching out. People point out Hagerstown's got a brand new ballpark, but I'll tell you, I'll caution you, that ain't happening. Hagerstown has, I would assume, the same 5-year deal that all new teams in the Atlantic League ended up getting. So while their lease with it's been cited that like their lease with Hagerstown would affect whether or not they could go minor league or whatever. No, that's not a thing. But it seems, well, maybe, but that's loose. You can work with that. Hagerstown would probably be happy to get a minor league team again. However, the 5-year deal with the Atlantic League would be the holdup there, especially because one of the primary owners of that Hagerstown team is Frank Bolton, who started the Atlantic League, has owned multiple teams throughout the Atlantic League, who did it sort of as a middle finger to the minor league baseball establishment and has continued to sort of keep that energy. I don't see him. He's not sitting there going, oh, I wish we were minor league, I wish we were affiliated. This is his league. The Atlantic League's his league. So, no, that's not going to happen. So, there are your options. Another weird one. And I don't know. My guess is in some way or another, Frederick will be having minor league baseball as an Orioles affiliate probably next year in 2026. And I think Aberdeen will retain baseball in some form. We talk about it on Indy Ball Pod a bit. Their profit situation's pretty dire. I don't see how they're going to make money even with some upgrades. I just don't know how that plan's going to work. So maybe Draft League is the only way to make it work. Frederick doesn't seem... This all, by the way, this all would seem very gross and dirty, and like this would be more of a scandal. Like, back one owner kind of allowing one team to do a little worse and one to do better so they can swap the city they want to have affiliation in with the other one. That feels kind of weird and gross. But it doesn't seem like Aberdeen cares that much, if I'm honest. They seem kind of over this. Frederick really wants to be affiliated. Frederick's a much bigger town. It makes sense. But I will caution you. My word of warning. My word of warning on the sign-off here. Attain is not the only organization that owns multiple minor league baseball teams. Diamond Baseball Holdings owns nearly 40, a third of minor league baseball. And there's a lot of, everything's fine. Keep in mind here, one owner could easily decide he doesn't want a minor league ballpark in your town anymore. He's going to switch that up. It's going to be something else. Draft League, God forbid. Indy Ball, maybe. And you're just going to make it work. Shake hands, whatever. Keep everything moving smoothly in the back channel. And next thing you know, that PDL, the coveted PDL, has moved to another city. And you're left there. Maybe your city isn't quite as fine with it as Aberdeen seems to be. So be careful of that. Let's all stay wary of these organizations that own multiple teams. Not good for everybody. And with that ominous sign-off, what a chaotic start to 2025. Wow, how weird. What are we doing? Ironbirds, Keys, Ghost Hounds. I think I should keep the Ghost Hounds brand, by the way. I know the Keys is traditional, but the Ghost Hounds was sick. Spire City Ghost Hounds, cool. All right, have a good one.